Hey, what's going on, guys? I just wanted to do a quick review video and really comparison between two single column Reader's Edition Bibles. And so right here on your left, we've got the Crossway Heirloom Legacy. This is in a deep brown goatskin. Great Bible. We'll take a look at it. And then this is the Schuyler Trevaris in the Imperial Blue goatskin. So these are two Bibles that I believe are probably some of the top-notch readers' Bibles that still have verses in them. So they're not just purely readers, but you can also use them for study. You could probably use this one for preaching. Some people have used this one for preaching as well, but we'll take a look at just how they do their layout here. But if you're trying to do a comparison to try to figure out which one you might be interested in, I think this video might be helpful for you. So stay tuned. So the first thing that we can talk about here is the cover. So the Crossway cover, this is a real pebbly, grainy goatskin. It feels super sturdy. It's flexible, but what I mean by sturdy is it's really thick and feels pretty rugged. It's not very soft to the touch. This is a really good goatskin. I had the Heirloom wide margin and it had a grain just like this. And that thing was invincible. I mean, I carried it around everywhere. I dropped it a few times and there were hardly any noticeable wear and tear on it. However, this Schuyler is a much smoother grain goatskin. And from my experience, I think I would actually prefer the smoother grain. I actually believe that the Schuyler goatskin is more durable. I'm not sure exactly why, but when I've had the Heirloom wide margin in the past, although it was really durable, there were still some noticeable scuff marks. I don't know if you guys have ever been able to pick up some just scuffs on the Crossway Bibles, but it'll just get scuffed up if you rub it against something. And although it doesn't look terrible, you can definitely tell. But as far as the Schuyler Bibles here, on my Quintel that I've used for almost a year now, I have dropped it several times. I've used it like crazy, and there literally is no markings whatsoever on the Bible. You cannot tell that the thing is used. And I've heard other people say that as well. So I would say this cover, I would rate a 10 out of 10. And this one probably an 8. Okay, so as we look inside, here I'm going to open it up. I don't think it opens on Genesis 1 yet. So I'm just going to open it up somewhere in Leviticus. And then we are going to compare here apples to apples. So I'm just here in Numbers. So as you're looking at narrative sections of these two books, the first thing that you'll notice here is that the legacy does not fill out the entire page. So they said the design for this was going to be to look at the Renaissance time period of what they believed was the perfect page, the perfect reader's page. And it really aligns super well. It's line matched. It looks amazing. However, it's on a 9-point font. So there's a lot of room here in the lower margin and the side margins. It's probably about an inch here and even an inch and a quarter at the bottom, which is cool if you want to write in it. But you're not really maximizing the space that you have for reading purposes, in my opinion. I still think it's super readable, but I would have to say that here, the Schuyler Trevaris really uses this footprint well, because this is a 10-point typeface versus the 9-point right here. And you can actually tell it does make a big difference. However, there's less margin space. The Legacy is not really a wide margin Bible per se, but if you're going to use it for that, it might be the better option for you. But when you think about the block size, this is a 5.5 by 8.5 inch Bible. Now, when you look at the Legacy, it's a full-sized 6 by 9 inches. So you're actually getting a larger Bible. I'm going to try to align here. Yeah, you can tell right there. You're actually getting a full-sized Bible with a smaller text versus a mid-sized, large font reader's Bible, which I just think that this one makes so much more sense in that category. But as you compare the paper, and let's just go to a poetry section here, try to find some poetry. Yeah, let's look at Isaiah. As you compare the paper quality, they're both French milled, bound and printed in the Netherlands by Royal Youngblood. And they're on 28 GSM paper. The ghosting, to me, is about the same in both. However, I would say that the font on the Trevaris is darker. So it's darker, it's larger. This is a little bit smaller. And I'll try to zoom in just a little bit for you to be able to see. That's what the ghosting looks like in the poetic section. I'm going to turn to some poetic here in the Trevaris. So it's about the same. It's up for you to decide. There's these pretty cool drop caps right here, but I want to show you guys the verse layout. So in the poetic section, the Trevaris is line by line verses. So you got 5, 6, 7, 8. It's easy to follow. But when you go to a narrative section, what you're going to see is that they place the verses all on the left side. Meaning when a new sentence starts, that's where the verse starts. And so sometimes it's in the middle of the line that a verse will start. Sometimes there's a comma in the midst of it, and you're going to have to figure out where the verse starts. Once I figured out that system, I was worried at first about owning one because I wasn't sure about that. I figured out that it's actually not difficult to figure out where the verse is. It's probably more challenging if you're a preacher like myself to be able to find it. But if you are just using this Bible purely as a reader and even for study, I don't think it's a big deal. So the overall readability of these Bibles, I would say for the legacy, I would give this a 8.5. I say that too because Crossway also makes a Heritage Bible that has a 9.25 font with more spacing between the lines. I would say that that Bible is probably more of a 9.5 or a 10. The Trevaris here, in that mid-sized 9.5 by 5.5 footprint on a 10-point font, I would have to say that this Bible is probably a 9.5 or a 10. I have loved this Bible so much. I just feel like it makes so much sense. It's a beautiful layout, super durable goatskin. And I would have to give this one probably a 9.5, if not a 10, for what it is as a reader's Bible. So I hope this has been helpful for you guys. Trying to remember if I'm missing anything here, but really if you're trying to go between one or the other, if you need some more font, or not some more font, but if you need some more room to write notes in the margins, you might want to go with the Legacy. But if you're looking for just a reader's Bible, that's awesome. For the price point, they're pretty similar. And that's one more thing I'll say, is that right now the Schuyler Trevaris is out of stock. However, they're continuing to print these Bibles, and I believe that the pre-orders are starting soon in April, and you'll be able to get yours in pre-order. So I hope this video has been helpful for you guys, and thank you for tuning in. Make sure and like and subscribe this video for more content.